Morning everyone, my name is Audrey. I am StitchYWips42 here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. And I also have a second account over on Instagram, which is StitchYWips42dstash. This is my channel about cross-stitch, life, the universe, and everything. And today I'm going to talk about some jeeping, some cross-stitch, some papercrafts, and power tools. So, normally I record every other Monday, but my last video was like a week and a half ago on a Thursday because we were going to go on a jeeping weekend, and I'm going to talk about jeeping for a few minutes. Bear with, or turn me off. Mute the section if you don't want to hear it. You can do that. You can do that. But anyway, we went on a jeeping weekend. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. Mark has been rebuilding his dad's Jeep. He got it finished last year. He is now working on fabricating a hardtop for it. And his plans were to try to have that hardtop finished by the time we went on this weekend. But between his work and life, that just didn't happen. So what he had on the Jeep was a bikini top. A bikini top basically covers the seats. It has no sides, it has no back. This is Oregon. Memorial weekend. It rained. Not unusual. He headed down to Lowell, Oregon, which is where we were going, and it started raining on him. I went to work, came home, did the things that I needed to do around the house. I headed down in the afternoon, and the only way to describe my trip down to Lowell, Oregon was 50 shades of rain. There was a break in the skies. There was a little rain. There was a lot of rain. Then it drizzled. Then it poured. Then there was a break. Then it rained. Then there was so much rain that with my wipers on I couldn't see the road, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to be riding around in a Jeep in this? What have I gotten myself into? So I got down, got ourselves booked into a hotel room, went from the hotel room back to where this gathering was happening. Anna, Cheryl, I didn't get lost. I've never been there before. I just used my GPS and I found it. Just saying. Got over to our host's property. Nice house on a creek. They had a covered patio. They had a fire pit with a fire going. The host and hostess for the weekend, there's 5 members in their family that were part of this group. There was 10 other people, 10 guests, a total of 8 Jeeps that were going to go out on this jeeping adventure over the weekend. Mark and them had done 2 trips, I think, on Saturday. I got to do my first one on Sunday. And when we went over to their house Sunday morning, I walked in there and I said, by the way, I want you all to know I am your weakest link. I have never been jeeping before. I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping there's not going to be any crazy trying to climb up the hills and come down backwards, because that terrifies me. And they were very reassuring and said, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. So it was drizzly Sunday morning, and Mark took care of me, and there will be some pictures at the end of this video because you need to see how I was dressed up. It was a fashion statement all on its own. I had my black sweatshirt jacket on. I had Mark's Remington camo hunting jacket on, very warm hunting jacket on. I had a red plaid jacket wrapped around my legs to help keep me warm there and also to protect me from getting wet because it was drizzly. And then Mark had the heat on in the Jeep down by my feet to help keep me warm. And I was very comfortable through the whole thing. We probably spent 7 hours out driving forest roads and taking little side excursions and stopping and seeing waterfalls, and I had way more fun than I thought I would. And it was fun and it was different. The host, his wife, granddaughter, and her boyfriend were in the lead Jeep. His grandson and a friend were in the last Jeep, and they were always the first and the last, and the rest of us were in between, and that was to make sure that we all stayed together. There was a lot of communication if anybody needed to stop, if there were any problems. We all had walkies and could communicate with each other and stop if we needed to. There were a couple of times that we had to stop and the guys all piled out and went and cut down trees and moved branches so that we could get through these forest trails. Then we went back to their place and had a fantastic dinner. Mark and I headed back to the hotel, and when we got up the next morning, I could barely move. I did not realize how beat up I felt after driving around for 7 hours in a Jeep. So we decided against going out on the Jeep run Monday morning. We went back to the host's house, had breakfast with them, said our goodbyes, headed home, and when I got home, I went straight upstairs and went to bed and slept. I felt so beat up, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So, no stitching for me Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. Tuesday I went to work, still feeling beat up. So when I came home, I just relaxed. Wednesday I went to work, and after work I had physical therapy, and I think they're trying to kill me. I'm almost positive of it. So I didn't do any stitching on Tuesday or Wednesday. But Thursday, I did do some stitching. And I did do some stitching because Thursday was the first Thursday at Acorns and Threads since pre-COVID. Our last meetup was in March of 2020. And this was the first meetup since June 2nd, 2022. And today's June 6th. Hold on. It's June 6th. Yes. So, I decided that since I was going to go to First Thursday, that I was going to give myself a new start. Because First Thursday. I'm housing it in this wonderful bag that was gifted to me a couple years ago by my friend Lori, textilist. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous bag. And it was made by, I actually kept the tag this time because I'm getting smart in doing that, Nikki's Notables. So the project that I took with me was Summer House Stitchworks, Emily's Bliss. When this first came out, I contacted Acorns and Threads and I said, please, will you kit it up for me because it was exclusive to them. And I wanted the linen and the silks. So this is what I took with me. I think I actually started it here at the house that morning. And you have everything in here to make this drum. You have all the wool bits and bobs for doing the finishing up top. I have all the silks here. These are Gloriana silks. Now I have stitched with silk before. I've never used Gloriana threads. So let me see, how do I do that? I twist and 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 I twist. And I let it run together, and look at those colors. Just stunning. So this is what I got done. Now, I did not do all of this up at First Thursday. Anna made fun of me. She does that sometimes, because I made the comment that I did a center start on this. And she goes, I thought you were an upper left-hand corner person. And I said, well, it all depends on what I'm stitching. And because this was kitted up for me, and I didn't know how much of a border would be left on this piece, I decided that I was going to start in the center. So I was working on this line down here, and I was coming around over there, and when I got home that evening, I did some more stitching on it, and as you can see, I've got a fair amount done on there. But it wasn't until I was starting to stitch these little pieces over here that once again I realized that I've personalized this one, because right here there's supposed to be 3 sets of 2. And I have 4 sets of 2. So my top border is not going to line up where it's supposed to. I don't think it's going to make a difference with this, because I am going to make it into a drum. So if I have to adjust the top border up or down 1 stitch to make it work, it's going to be fine. But stitching at meetups makes errors. It does. That is my progress on Emily's Bliss. So, First Thursday, Janine had the opportunity to rent the doctor's office that was right next door to Acorns and Threads. And she did this with the whole idea of creating an annex, a place to have meetups or classrooms or whatever. And she rented this doctor's office. It is 1,600 square feet. When we were there Thursday, it is pretty much a blank canvas right now. She has a box with some samplers in there that she's going to be hanging on the walls to decorate it. There were 6 tables in the center of the room, a half a dozen chairs. So right now, it's a good idea that if you're going to go up there for any type of meetup, bring your own folding chair. I think she's ordering some, but until then, bring your own chair. And if you watch Anna, Quilt Roadies, Stitch Roadies, the Stitch Roadies, not the Quilt Roadies, she recorded everyone who was there on this first Thursday. I think with the couple of people that came in and introduced themselves and then went shopping, and another lady who came in and sat and stitched, I think there was probably 10 people there before I left. But it was nice to catch up with everyone. People that I haven't seen for a while was Margaret and Jen, who were at the previous First Thursdays. Melissa was there. She drove down with Becca. Becca's sister Rachel was there. Anna was there, and Cheryl, Stitching with the Sisterlies, was there. And myself, of course, obviously. So, while I was there, Anna gave me a gift, and so did Becca. And I have to share both of those. I just have to find them. Anna wrapped up my gift in this lovely piece of fabric, which, by the way, I think is an amazing idea. If you're going to give a gift to a crafty person, give them a piece of fabric that they can use for finishing or whatever. You know, wrap it up. I like that idea. Then she gave me this beautiful card, and she had talked about the person who makes these cards on one of her videos, and I went and looked at this woman's artwork, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's NomadMoonMagic. This is stunning. So stunning. And what Anna gave me was a wool kit of me. I know it's me because it's a witch, and I have that figure. I do, really. I do. So, this is cute. This is so stinking cute. I will definitely be doing this sooner rather than later. Absolutely, absolutely loved it. And thank you again, Anna. And then when Becca got there, she gave me something that she found at an antique shop. Comes in a blue folder. And inside this blue folder, words, is an Alphonse Mucha pattern. This pattern is from a calendar that was printed in 1899, I think, is what I found when I looked it up. This, that I don't know how to pronounce, is August. So this would have been the photo, the print for the month of August in this calendar. So I'm looking at it, and Anna looks at this, and this is a pattern. Yes, I'm showing you a pattern. I'm showing you one page of the pattern. And she goes, "How do you stitch that?" For me, when I'm stitching on my Alphonse Muchas, I start top center. My work is almost always on my stand, and then I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and work my way down across pages, across everything. She goes, "But how do you read that? It's so tiny." And I said, "It's not tiny. It's okay. I can do this." I think I baffled her. I think when I go and meet with the Cluckers again, I will probably take my Alphonse Mucha with me so that I can show her. Because that's what I do. I start top center, I work over to one side, I come back over to the other side, and then I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Or sometimes, like I'm doing here, I did a page and I'm working on the next page, but still, I'm just filling it all in, and it works for me. What can I say? Alrighty, those were the two gifts, well, 2 of 3 gifts that I got. When I told my friends on our little chat group that my therapist now wants me to walk with a cane, she asked G to make me a walking stick, and he did. It's hidden back here somewhere. I have to practice walking with it because it's not the right height yet and needs to be adjusted. But I love the fact that she got G to make a walking stick for me. So again, while I'm up at First Thursday, of course I had to go over into the shop. Before, First Thursday used to be inside Acorns and Threads, and there towards the end it got so crowded that it kind of intimidated people from coming into the shop. Now we're next door in this huge annex, and if we want to go shopping, we have to walk out and walk right next door, oh my gosh, and go in and go shopping. And it's nice because when you do that, it's not as loud as it was before. So it's really, really nice. I had asked them, they were sold out of these right after market, and I had asked them to put one in my bag when it came in. So I got Brenda Gervais, Keeper of the Pins. There's a lot of people that have been stitching this right now. And the other one was one that I had seen. I don't know what year this is, what year this was printed. But this is a praiseworthy Stitches Creepy Pumpkin Stackers. And I've seen this a couple of times, and I think that I really need to make them, because you're going to stitch all the sides of the pumpkins, and then you're going to sew them together and then stack them. And I think that is just going to be fun. And it has DMC colors, and we know I stitch with DMC, so that's all good, right? Right. So pretty much that's what I've done for cross stitch for the past week and a half, because I've been busy. I had shown on my last video that I started making some floss books, and I put some of them up for sale on my D-Stash page on the 1st, and between that night and the next morning I sold 4 of them. I had made a couple more that I wanted to take with me up to First Thursday to show my friends, and I sold 2 more of them up there. Then I came home, and the 2 that hadn't sold at First Thursday I put up on my D-Stash page, and they sold. So in 4 days' time I posted 9 floss books, and 8 of them sold. Blew me away. I'm having so much fun making these things that since getting home from jeeping and from First Thursday, I've made 5.5 more. It's my new obsession. But they're fun. This is one that I made. Found this piece of paper. It's an old map of Europe. I thought, that's going to make a cover. That is going to make a cover. This is the inside of the cover. My card, there's a library card, there's 10 floss away bags. This is the inside of the back and the back cover. These will go up on my Instagram later on. Then I decided that I wanted to make one that is not necessarily Halloween, it's more autumnal with a touch of Halloween. So I found this paper. And of course I've got a poison label on there, because you have to have the touch of Halloween, right? On the inside there is this with a little bit of Ouija paper. Again, my business card, library card, 10 floss away bags. This paper I absolutely love. And of course, I've had this sticker for several years now. It had been sent to me by Dina, Darling and Whimsy Designs. And I thought it was perfect. Just a hint of Halloween. And then the back cover. And of course, if you're going to make one, you make 2. And if you make 2, well, then I'm looking at more paper. In my chat group with the Cluckers, on my D-Stash page, I've had a couple of people asking me questions about how I made these. And when Molly and Kathy, Linens and Scraps, did their tutorial, I said I do mine different than you do yours, and they wanted to see how, or wanted to know how I did it. So I'm going to add a video to the end of this showing you how I make mine because I use power tools. Oh, wait a second. I use power tools. Oh, oh, oh. So I was looking through my paperwork or my papers, and I found, I don't know what enters my mind sometimes when I'm at the craft stores and I'm looking at papers, because I pick up things and then I bring them home and I put them in the drawer and I pull them out later and I thought, why did I get that? Because I'm not going to use that. And that's what this one was. But again, by the time I finished this little book, I thought, that's why I bought this one. This one says, Lady's Diary. I have no idea why I bought this, what possible thoughts I had for doing this. The inside paperwork, I have this paper which kind of reminds me of an Art Deco, the Art Deco interiors that you would see in the hotels in New York. And if it's a lady's diary, we need a little Art Deco. The back inside cover, I went for a subtle monochromatic page. And then I have this sticker down here that is a woman writing a letter because it's a lady's diary. This is how my brain works when I'm working on these. And then the back piece is a piece of Tim Holtz paper. When you get his 12 by 12 pads, you get full 12 by 12 pages. And then you get some pages that you can cut down into 4 6 by 6 pages. And then you get some that you can cut down small little pieces of ephemera. And then you get pages like this that have strips of pages. And I thought, since it's striped, since it's striped, which is similar to the front, I thought those went well together. So I made those three. All three of those will be going up on my D-Stash page. Then I was going through and I'm looking at papers, and there was this one piece of paper that I kept seeing and I kept putting it aside because I want it. It's going to be mine. And I didn't know, when I go upstairs to do my paper crafting, I have no clue what I'm going to make. I have no preconceived idea. It just kind of happens. I start shuffling paper around and I'll put a pile of it together and I'll sort through that and I'll sort through others and I bring things together and yeah. But this one piece of paper had the English flag on it. And by the way, I hope that you got the chance to watch Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee. I did. It is fantastic. It was fantastic. All the horses, all the acts. It was absolutely amazing. But this is the cover that I made for my floss book. On the inside, I kind of wanted to go for a passport type feel. So I have a sticker here that says London. I have another sticker here that says Deutschland. I have a tag here that says New South Wales. I have one over here that says Edinburgh, because they fit. And then on the back, this is another one of those Tim Holtz pages. This is the one that I was telling you about that has the little squares on it that you can cut out and use as ephemera in journals. But this is mine. I'm keeping this one. So I'm getting close to the time when my camera is going to shut off here. I am going to stop. I'm going to take my camera upstairs and I am going to do a video viewing down showing you how I make my journals. So let me pause the camera, take it upstairs, get things set up, and I'll be back momentarily. Hi, I'm back. So this morning, when I was getting ready for this video, I came upstairs and I cut out my hardboard and my papers to record this video. And then I went ahead and I started gluing it all together because I'm a natural blonde. So I already made one of these this morning, or started one of these this morning. And then I thought, oh my gosh, what an idiot you are. So I cut out some more paper. What it takes for me to make one of my floss books is 2 pieces of hardboard, 4 pieces of paper that I'm going to use to decorate it with. I like it to look like it has a binding, a spine. So a couple of little pieces there, and I picked out some little goodies that I'm going to glue inside of them. So let me put all of this aside. I use ink. I use Scotch Creates glue stick because I really like this. And basically, if I prep this, it doesn't take very long for me to put them together at all. What I have to do is decide which papers are going to go where. So what I've decided on this book is that this one is going to be my front page. This is going to be the inside of that cover. This will be the inside of the back cover. And this will be the back cover itself. So let me set those aside. These are cut the same size. And I don't really worry about getting everything all trimmed up and everything because I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to make it look all nice and neat when I get around to playing with the power tools. Mark has a shop, so therefore I get to play with the power tools. I use my glue stick, and I'm just going to cover the back of this and make sure that my edges are good and gluey. I recommend having a wet wipe up here with you when you're working on something like this, and a dry one. So basically I am just going to line my bottom corners up here, and I have a little time when I put it down that I can slide it to where I want it to be. And then I take my dry wet wipe and I am just going to go over the whole thing to make sure that the glue and the paper and the hardboard have good adhesion. Front one done. This is going to be my inside piece. That's the back of the page. This is the side I want to put the glue on. I get really sticky fingers, and my fingers get all stained from the inks and such that I use. Wet wipe. And then I take the dry one, and again, I'm just rubbing it over the back of this to make sure that everything has a chance to get glued together. I think it's called burnishing. So I've got a front cover, I've got the inside cover. This is going to be the back of, or this is going to be the inside of my back cover. Now, you can use wet glues for this. Wet glues will make your papers wrinkle. They'll dry flat, but they take longer to dry. You can use double-sided tapes. There's any number of ways you can do these. I like the glue stick. There is a little time to move it around. And it doesn't matter, down here I can see a little bit of the hardboard underneath. By the time I get done with it, that won't be an issue. Okay. This is what I want to have as my back. So that's the side I'm putting the glue on. I have a lot of Tim Holtz paper. Well, I don't have a lot, but I have some Tim Holtz paper. And I like it because when you buy a pad, you can mix and match and pick out what it is that you want to use. I have several 6x6 sets. Again, the same thing. You can pick out stuff, whatever stuff you want, and just mix and match and make it work. I like the idea of having all 4 pages being different. It just appeals to me. If I get glue on here, I just take my wet wipe and wipe it off. It doesn't damage the paper. So there you are. Front cover, inside of front cover, inside of back cover, back cover. I have these 2 pieces that I'm going to use to mimic the spine. So what I want to do is I want to take my ink, and I'm using Distress Oxide ink. This is Gathered Twigs. It's a Ranger product. And I'm just going to ink up one edge, one long edge. And on the other one, I'm going to ink up the opposite side. The reason I'm doing that is you can see white here. By inking the edges, it makes that whiteness disappear. Now, if aesthetically you like the white, leave it. All right. So, this is my front cover. I want this to go along this edge. So I want the inked side to be inside. And again, you have a little bit of time with the glue stick to put it where you want it to be. I hold it down and run it one way so that it doesn't slide. And then I do it the other way. And again, that's just to make sure that everything is touching that's been glued. Okay. This is the inside of my back cover. This is the outside of the back cover. This one is going to go over here. Again, the inked side is on the inside of this. I'm going to get it in place, hold on to it on one end. Use the wet wipe to clean my fingers from all the glue I've got on them already. So, front cover, front inside, back inside, back cover, and you can see there is an edge on both sides. Now I want to decorate, and I picked out some little ephemera pieces that I had purchased from somewhere. I'll think of it. I'll try to remember to list it in the drop-down box. But I like putting just a little bit of ink on these. It gives them more definition. And I like the idea of decorating the inside of my books. If you decide that you're going to make your own floss books, you're going to make them the way you want to do it. So that's what I do. And I am having fun. I've been surprised. Like I was saying earlier, I have posted 9 of them on my D-Stash page. I've sold 8 of them. Thank you so much. That has kind of blown me away. So I was playing with these earlier, and I know where I want to put them. So again, I'm going to use my manila folder for inking, or for gluing. When I get done doing this, I'm going to take the camera and everything. I'm going to go down in Mark's shop, and I'm going to show you how I play with power tools. Now, I want to tell you, I will be using my husband's belt grinder. The belt grinder is a dangerous tool. I know this because Mark has told me this. When our son Philip was 18 months old, Mark was making handmade knives. And we decided that Mark would start watching Philip out in the shop. And being the responsible parent that Mark is, he showed Philip all of his tools. And you can imagine, 18-month-old little boy and power tools. He was excited. So Mark decided to show Philip exactly how dangerous these power tools could be. The belt grinder being one of the most dangerous ones that he has out there, but not the only dangerous one that he has out there. And he turned it on, and Philip's eyes got big, and then he turned it off and did something that I thought was really kind of fascinating. He took a pencil. And he asked Philip if the pencil was the same size as his finger. And Philip said, yes, it was. And Mark turned the belt grinder back on and stuck the pencil in it, and it snapped the pencil in an instant. And Philip's eyes got really big. Philip never played with the belt grinder. On the other hand, Philip did put crazy glue on his tongue. And Mark spent several minutes picking it off his tongue because boys. Okay, so you've watched me cover my front inside cover, back inside cover, back cover. Do a little bit of decorating here. If I wanted to, I could just sand the edges and have my book finished just like this with square corners. I like curved corners. So remember when I was telling you that Mark showed me told me the difference between washers, that some are stainless steel and won't hook to magnets and others are metal? Well, he gave me a metal washer to use to make my corners. And this is the high-tech part. I place it there and I draw my circle, or my round corner. And I place it down here and I draw my round corner. I'm going to pause the camera here. I'm going to take all this stuff, I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm going to set it up in Mark's very messy grinding room and show you how I turn this into something that will be finished like this. So, hold on. Okay, welcome to Mark's shop. This is a belt grinder. This thing is turned off right now. This is something, like I said, this is a dangerous tool. It will, if you don't pay attention, it will hurt you. So I don't recommend using one of these unless you've done it many times. And being that my husband made handmade knives for 14 years and this thing tried to kill him, I have learned to be very, very respectful. My hand is nowhere near the power on and off on this. And if when I am grinding, it grabs my journal cover, my floss book cover, I'll step back and just let it do what it's going to do. It is going to be loud, so I would honestly recommend that if you don't mind listening to a little bit of noise, you can leave your volume where it's at. If you don't want to hear the loud, mute me at this point. I have my journal cover with me, and this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to count down to 3, turn my power tool on, the belt grinder on, leave your volume down low until I hold the journal cover back up like this, which will signify to you that I am done using this machine. I am not going to be talking while I'm doing this because I'm going to pay attention to it, because this machine can hurt you if you don't pay attention. So, counting down, 3, 2, 1. Told you it was noisy. Anyway, I have now got my edges all trimmed down and they're nice and smooth. So it didn't matter whether my pages were not quite the right size when I started, because this thing made them all turn out like this. So I'm going to pause here again, take the camera back up, reset it on my little stand over the desk, and show you how I finish one of these. I'm back upstairs in the library. It wasn't the power tool that hurt me today. It was the tripod. It's got these locks that you undo on the legs, and I've done this any number of times. I pinched my finger. I'm going to have a lovely blood blister there later on today. Oh well. So again, working with the belt grinder downstairs, it is a dangerous tool. Unless you've worked with them before, I do not recommend doing that. My husband made knives for 14 years. He has taught me how to use all of his power tools out there, because over the course of our lifetime together, I have made many things and I've used his power tools, and I have respect for them because I know they can hurt you if you don't pay attention. You don't have to use a belt grinder to sand your edges, but it's fast and it's easy. And I like power tools. What can I say? So anyway, here is my cover. I've got it all finished. The edges are still white. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my ink and I'm just going to go around the edges. And I don't care how much I get over the sides, because I want this to have an aged look, a grungy look, if you will. And I'm trying to get rid of all of the white. The white is not my aesthetic. And you can see this part does not take very long at all. If you decide to make your own floss books, of course, you're going to do what you like to do. This is what I like to do. The other thing that putting ink on is that occasionally there are times where I've cut the paper slightly shorter than it should be. But when you ink the edges and you're making the cardboard underneath there and all the paper have the same inked edge, it makes all of that disappear. All right, I now need to cut 2 holes, or to put 2 holes in there, and I use my Crop-A-Dot. I have it on the 3/16. I have a template that I use, and basically I'm going to put that underneath there, line it up, I'm going to turn it around, line up the other one, and it's basically done, except that I have to put it together. So I'm going to cheat here, and I'm going to take another one apart and show you how easy it is to put these together. I have my book ring. I put it through there. I hook my card on next, my library card, and then I just start putting the floss away bags on. Now when you buy floss away bags, they do not have the white index card in them. If you decide that you want to put an index card in them, the floss away bags and the index cards are both 3 by 5 inches. So you need to cut the index cards down 1/4 of an inch on 2 edges, on a long edge and a short edge. And then they will fit inside the floss away bags. That hurts. Now, I'm putting 10 floss away bags in because I figured that's a good number to start with. And floss away bags are relatively easy to get a hold of. I know that Acorns and Thread sells them. I know you can buy them on Amazon. I'm sure you can get them in other places. But I figure starting with 10 is a good way to start, and people can add or subtract as needed. So there you are from start to finish. I have another floss book, and this one will also be going up for sale on my StitchYwips 42D stash page. There you are. So I'm going to pause the camera one more time and go back downstairs one more time to finish up this video. Hold on. I'm back downstairs again. So, to get from my library upstairs, I come down the stairs. I walk all the way through the living room, go through the kitchen, snake my way through Mark's office, which is the biggest dump ever in this house. I don't clean his office, and you can tell. Go through the door out to the shop, go back into the far corner, which is where the grinding room is at and the belt grinder is at, and then come back through, go upstairs, set up my camera on the tripod, pinch my finger. That's going to make stitching fun this afternoon because it's that finger. But I did that because I wanted to show you how I make the floss books. When Molly and Kathy did their tutorial on how they make theirs, and both of them have two completely different ways of making them than I do, and I'm going to link that video down below. I commented and said I make mine different, and they said they wanted to see it. Well, here you go. That's how you've just seen from start to finish how I make a floss book. Like I was saying in my chat with the Cluckers, Susan wanted to know how I do the round corners. I use a belt grinder, power tools. Another lady contacted me through my D-stash and messaged me and said, what kind of materials are you using? I am more than happy to tell you everything that I can about what I use to make these journals if you want to make your own. There are easier ways than using the belt grinder to sand your edges that aren't nearly as dangerous as that. And I want to keep using that word dangerous because when Mark was making knives, that belt grinder took one of his knives and flung it at him, and if he hadn't been wearing his leather apron, it would have stabbed him. It is a dangerous tool. I know when I go out there that I have to be very, very careful. I was working on one of these and it grabbed it and flung it across the room, and all I did was step back from the machine and then reach down below and turned it off and stopped. It's not something to just go out and think, hey, I can do this. You need to know what you're doing. You need to pay attention. So, do I know what I'm doing? I pay attention. Does that count? Anyway, so I now have 4, plus the one that I started this morning that was supposed to be used for the video. There will be 5 new journals on my StitchYwips 42D stash page. I will probably put these up tomorrow for sale. I am selling them for $20 plus shipping. In the US, it's been less than $5. I've been charging $5. Thank you for coming and visiting with me again. I want to take this time to thank my new subscribers for subscribing, because apparently when I went on my rant, or on my high horse, as Vikki said a couple of weeks ago, about drawing a blank, KitschyWips videos. It is so easy to subscribe to a channel, and it helps the channel to grow. And I noticed on hers where, like I said, the first time I watched her video, she'd had over 2,000 views. She had only 400 subscribers. She's made 2 more videos and she's over 1,000 now. So thank you. Thank you for going and watching her. Thank you for subscribing to her. And thank you for subscribing to me. I really, really do appreciate it. What I love most of all are the comments. And it's a way to continue this one-sided conversation through comments, whether it's on this video, whether it's on my Instagram. Talk to me. I'm getting better at answering people who tell me that they actually watch my videos in person. Still startles me that people watch me, because, you know, I know my friends do because they tell me things. But when somebody who I don't know walks up to me and says, "Oh yeah, I watch your videos," it kind of gives me that second of deer in the headlight look. What do I say? Anyway, I wanted to end this video by doing a couple of giveaways. I'm sorry, it's not going to be a floss book. There's 2 patterns I want to do. I went through and I was cleaning out my stuff, and I came across this Amy Brukin design, which I think is really cute. It's Frank and Sally's skull. Both of these are full coverage pieces. Niecie Lynn did she did a trio one, where they're in the photo booth trio. And I'm pretty sure it was Amy Brukin Designs. I told her if she's going to do full coverage on something like this, she could do an Alphonse Mucha. I don't think she's ready to go there. But I wanted to talk about Niecie Lynn anyway. One, because I love her. I could sit and listen to her all day long. But if you remember a while back, I did the tutorial on how to make the little toilet paper roll needle case. She and her granddaughter Aria made 2 of them. And she used book pages to cover the toilet paper roll. And then they put stickers all over them. And Aria decided that she had to decorate one for her sister Kimmy, so that they now both have their very own toilet paper roll needle cases. And Niecie Lynn, if you're watching this video, when you shared that, you made my day. You made me just sit here and grin, because you shared that little craft, recycling toilet paper rolls, with your granddaughters, and they want to make more. Lisa Prims on Greenway has done some. Devi on Instagram has done some. There is another lady who has done one, the first one who sent me pictures, and I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. But thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, back to this. I want to do this one for a giveaway. So, how about Frank and Sally? Be a subscriber, be over 18. Pause, I have to cough. That coughing fit snuck up on me out of nowhere. Okay, so if you are interested in the Amy Brukin, Frank and Sally. The other one is one that I printed off years ago. I purchased this one. It's a blue ribbon design. It's called Behind the Gate, and it's a Halloween calendar. I think that this one is really, really cute. There are several pages to this, because what it is you are going to stitch the background, and then you're going to stitch each individual motif and finish them off so that you can make a Halloween calendar. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you've got 31 little motifs that you could make smalls out of. This was something I wanted to do years and years and years ago, but I'm never going to get around to it. I think that it is a really, really cool idea. The back piece, the calendar piece, says, as the month of October creeps along, each day reveals a treat. Quickly we reach the 31st day when beggars dress up for sweets. So on one side, you're going to stitch the numbers 1 through 31, and there will be a couple of them that are blank on both sides. On the other side, you're going to stitch the little motifs behind the gate. So those are the two things that I would like to put up for giveaways for this video. I want to thank everyone for liking and subscribing to my videos. I want to thank you for coming and visiting. If you decide that you want to make your own floss book, I've shown you how I do it. I will link Molly and Kathy so you can see how they do it, because like I said, they both do it completely different from the way that I do. And they're all good ideas. And if you don't want to make one, I'll be putting mine up for sale on my DStash page. So until we meet again, my friends, live long and stitch on. Bye-bye.